the phrase the Diddy Club or the Diddy team is now just a natural part of the lexicon of Scottish football. But I think you're the first guy I remember actually putting it out there in the public domain. And from what I can remember, it was a throwaway remark, but you almost have coinage on this phrase. I think you said in the context of Partick this, I can't remember.
I'll reply, but I want to go around the houses a wee bit
I
on
was
this.
sorry, before you do, I was going to mention the Daily Record and Ken Dodd, or was it
Yeah,
Michael
that's it.
Benteen?
Right. So, but I want to say a couple of things because with you I can say it because this is a proper forum. Um, I don't think there's anything of what was called my coinage or some people called gaffes that haven't been proven right and with the passage of time. Um, I told people that unless we did a bigger league, Atlantic League, British League, that we would go into managed decline and irrelevance. That has absolutely happened. I told people that the world of sports media would change and that unless we did our own marketing, that we would end up just being filler content for a sports channel. That's exactly happened. I told people that international football was on the way out, and certainly Diddy internationals is the phrase, i.e. friendlies, were something ridiculous. All of those things you look back at now, none of them were wrong. I sometimes look back at that with some bitterness, and sometimes I look back at it with a smile. But the bottom line is, I was there in Scottish football. I think I got most things right, and Scottish football rejected me. So I think Scottish football needs to reflect. You end up all people end up with the governance that they deserve, and that's why all this criticism never hurts me. In terms of that particular story, this was Craig Brown, Uncle Craig, who had a friendly with, I can't remember, some Australia or something like that, a friendly, and I had scheduled games close around that, SPL games, and he took offence at this and had said it publicly that there wasn't enough respect for the national team. And there was another friendly between, I don't know, Algeria and Saudi Arabia that ended up 26-0 or something like that. And I said, I remember it very well. You'll like this because it was a bank holiday, and this I'd seen Craig's quotes, and normally I've got the protection of this PR guy I told you about, Alec Barr, that you know,
Hmm.
and he wasn't there. It was a bank holiday, so I called up the Daily Record directly, which was a mistake, and I got Jackson and Keith Jackson, and I said, Keith, here's the quotes. If he thinks I'm going to move the thing that matters in Scottish football, i.e. the league race, for some fucking Diddy international, he's got another thing coming. And of course, the phone went down rather quickly, and like
Right.
I could see the rubbing of the hands. And the next day, the back page was the Scotland team, all dressed with the feather dusters, with Craigie Brown as Ken Dodd in the middle. That was
Okay.
the story. The thing with Partick Thistle getting
Uh-huh.
confused about is another one which this was again this was something where you know how it goes. It's a routine. You're a media guy, and the media sector is a relatively unsophisticated beast. Present company accepted, right?
Uh-huh.
Relatively unsophisticated beast. So you could put your calendar by it. You get the first League Cup games in the autumn, October, November. You would get a team from the lower leagues beating an SPL team, and you put your clock by it. You would get some fucking journalist coming up and saying, "Doesn't this prove that the SPL breaking away and all this elitism, greed is good league? It's just a joke because one of your teams got beat." And you reply, Graham, because that's the way you're meant to reply.
Hmm.
Of course, this is the romance of the club. We welcome this. It's a cup game. It's nothing to do with the fact that Scottish football can only sustain maybe 20 clubs maximum, and it can't spread its resources too thin. The SPL is a great idea. All this kind of stuff. The reply on the phone. Yes, but one of your teams got beat. Surely, same question, right? Just phrased a different way. and you reply again with enormous patience and thinking, I don't want to give a headline, I don't want to give a headline, I don't want to give a headline. Again, you say the same answer. He says, yes, but one of your teams just could be, listen, if you think one of these teams can come up and survive in the SPL, you're smoking dope, right?
Oh yes, smoking dope. Yes,
Again,
yes, right.
click, click, the phone goes down. You know, and there was a certain sense, Graham, not at the start, but in years three and four,
Uh-huh.
I was
Mm,
almost looking for this stuff because my patience had gone. I did not have a high respect for the media sector. I did not have a high respect for the
mm,
huddle, where nobody had the balls to take their own line, again, present company accepted, and they all went around and what did he say and how can we all make sure that we've got the same story, that none of us get a problem from our editor. I thought that was pathetic. I thought it was a complete lack of ambition. I thought it was low-level people and they kept asking paint by numbers questions, and I just lost patience with it. And at the end of the day, I was almost looking for that kind of stuff.
yeah, I mean, there's a whole lot here, Roger. I'll need to get you back on to discuss because the whole thing about the media environment. I mean, it is true. I was bemused by the antics and the methods of some when I came into the business. And one of the key things that you've touched on it is what I call the headline question. The question is asked to get a headline, and it's one of the oldest tricks,
Yep,
especially in the
easy to
tabs.
spot.